Was good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in a building, and as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen, today I'm going to be showing y'all how to create the first ever slashing 4 build in NBA 2K23. Now with this build, we're going to be able to get a 99 driving dunk, Hall of Fame posterizer, and this is the most complete all-around power forward build you're going to be seeing all year when it comes down to the slashers. Now before anything else, man, thank you God for another day and another opportunity. But y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Now turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family, and let's go ahead and reach 50 likes on today's video. So to get started, I'm going to put this build out of the power forward position. When it comes down to the body shape, the height, the weight, the wingspan, this is all optional. So I'm going to go with 6'9". When it comes down to the weight, I'm going to go with 240 with a 7'6" wingspan. Now if you want to max it out, that is definitely okay, but I'm telling you right now, the way that I'm showing it to you is going to be the definite best way to work around. Now for the body shape, I'm going to go with builds, but as we go ahead and get into the breakdown of this build, make sure that you copy down every single stat that goes into it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the speed. I'm going to go with the 72, but if you want to go with the 74, that's perfectly okay as well. Now the physicals are the most important part about this build, especially when it comes down to the acceleration and speed. I'm going to go with the 72 and the 70. Then when it comes down to the vertical, I'm going to bring this up to an 82, so that way we're able to get every single contact dunk. Now for the stamina, my threshold will be a 90. Now we're all set to go from the physicals. Let's go ahead and move on to the defensive area. Now the main thing that we need to take into consideration going forward is what this build is going to be looking like at 99 overall, especially with the badge counts. So in total, I'm going to go ahead and let you know right now, we're going to be able to get a total of 77 badges. Now for the defensive rebound, I'm going to go with the 73. When it comes down to the block, this is optional. You can go anywhere from 89 all the way up to a 90. Now for the perimeter defense, this is going to be higher than the interior. I'm going to go with an 80 right here, and then when it comes down to my interior, this is going to be in the mid to high 70s. Now for the steal, I'm not too worried about that, but as far as for the total badge count, we get 18 badges just out of the defensive area. Now when it comes down to the playmaking, this is going to be another essential part about this build, especially when it comes down to the breakdown of the actual badges. This is going to be one of the best parts about it. So right here, let's go ahead and take a quick look. We get 2 Hall of Fame badges. The main one that I'm looking at will be Chased on Artists on Hall of Fame. Now for the 18 in total, we get a good amount of gold, few silver, and few bronze. But now let's go ahead and take it into the playmaking. So for the first thing that I'm going to do, max out your ball handle and your speed with ball, but for the pass accuracy, this will be a 78, or you can go ahead and bring this up to the 80s. That might change the build name, but as far as if you copy down these stats, everything is going to work out. We get that maxed out ball handle, the maxed out speed with ball. Now that's a total of 20 badges out of this area, and I'm telling y'all, when it comes down to the core badges, the setup that we're going to be able to run is going to be perfect out of the playmaking. Now from here, with the shooting, I'm going to go with both a 79 mid-range as well as a 3-pointer. If you go anything higher, the build name will change, but when it comes down to the free throw, I'm going to go with the 70. Now for the shooting badges in total, we get everything that we need, 19 right here, and consider adding on extra badges on this build. We're going to be able to bring that number up to 82 or to an 83, depending on if you get the extra 4 from being a starter in my career, but also the 1 extra badge that we're able to unlock from season 1. Now for the badge count in total, I'm telling you, we have everything that we need out of the offensive end, but even more so when it comes down to the defense as well. We get that 99 driving dunk, also going to be able to get every single elite contact dunk. Now the main thing with this build that we need to take into consideration will be the takeovers. That's going to give us a plus 10 towards 2 separate areas of this build. Now remember, if you buy your own boost, that's a plus 4 off rip, so that's going to allow us to take that mid-range and the 3-pointer shot into the 83 range. Now if you want to go ahead and add it into the playmaking, your ball handle will be a 91. Now these are just a few different things that I was taking into consideration making this build, but overall this is the best slashing power forward in my opinion. We're 6'9", 240 for the weight, we got a long wingspan. Then when it comes down to the badges itself, we're able to spread the wealth at ease, but once you add this build up to 99 overall, I'm telling you, looking much different from what we're going to be able to see when it comes down to slashing fours of the past. But when it comes down to the finishing badges, we get a good amount of Hall of Fame out of this area. Now going further, I'm telling you, the takeovers are going to play a huge effect in what this build is going to be able to do, especially when it comes down to the offense. So right there we get the slashing takeover, Also going to be able to get the shot creating, sharpshooting with the playmaking. So for my liking, if you want to get a 99 ball handle, pick that playmaking takeover. But if you want to go ahead and bring up the shooting into the 90s, like around the 93, I think it's going to be, you're going to want to go with shot creating takeover as well as sharpshooting. Now the first one that I'm going to go with will be ankle breaking shots, just so we get that 93 mid-range. The second one, I'm going to go with limitless range, and that's going to bring up our three-pointer. Now from here, let's go ahead and check out the comparisons and get that build name. And I'm telling you, if you like this build, let me know in the comments what you would have made differently when it comes down to adjustments. But as y'all can see together, we have created the slashing 4 build. Now from here, I'm telling you, we got to go ahead and put on the badges. Check out what this build will be doing at 99 overall. And once you add boost, that's going to change exactly what we're looking at this build like. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and say, if you add a +4 towards every single area of this build, I would have to say that's going to be one of the most balanced builds in my opinion, especially when it comes down to being a big man. Now again, we do get that 99 ball handle if you pick the playmaking takeover. The block, essentially, you can say this will be a 99. It's going to be up into like around a 97, I believe, if you buy boost. But then when it comes down to the actual driving dunk, this is the main stat of this build, and I wanted to be able to maintain that Hall of Fame posterizer badge. Now the best thing about it is that we're going to be able to equip it at a core badge. So I'm telling y'all, just a little sneak peek going forward when it comes down to the badge setups. But as far as what this build is looking like at 99 overall, you have everything on the playmaking. The shooting is lights out with the takeover, and especially with the finishing, you're going to be able to get some of the best contact dunks in the game. Now let's go ahead and get started with the finishing badges. There's a lot of different ways that I would work around this. The first one, I'm going to go with Hall of Fame Aerial Wizard as well as Limitless Takeoff. Now if you want to go about the setup a little bit differently, that's okay. But as far as for the 2 tier 2 badges that I did throw on, this is going to allow us to be able to throw on Hall of Fame Posterizer as our core badge. Now again, this is just one setup that I would go with. If you feel like going with something else, that's going to be perfectly okay as well. Now we have 3 Hall of Fame badges just alone when it comes down to the finishing. That's going to be a perfect setup going forward. Now let's go ahead and get into the shooting. Now anytime that I get into this area, I do love to spread the wealth. Now that's just my opinion. The more shooting badges that we can get that are going to boost our shooting percentage, the better is what I always say. So I'm going to go with Gold Midi Magician. The second one, you can go with Agent 3 or spread the wealth and go with Gold Guard Up. Now this is another good setup to go with as well, especially if you pair it up with a tier 1 badge. But going further, you want to be able to unlock that tier 3. So that way we're able to get 1 core badge out of the shooting, but then also spread the wealth in that tier 3 as well. Now to everybody who's made it this far into the video, go ahead and let me know in the comments by comedy down TG for thank God. And I'm just going to go ahead and say I got y'all with a response if you do that. It means so much to me to know that y'all are still watching, but also that y'all are showing up every single day, and I want to give back to y'all in some way. And I think the best way that I'm going to be able to do that is by playing with y'all, bringing you content every single day. So if you need anything, whether it comes down to gameplay, new builds, tutorials, I got y'all. Just be sure to go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. But when it comes down to the actual badge counts for the playmaking, you're going to be able to spread the wealth out of this area as well. So first, I'm going to go with Gold Hyperdrive, Quick First Step, and then you want to go with Vice Grip as well. And that's going to allow us to unlock the tier 3 badges right here. So again, this is just my beginning setup. There's going to be different ways that you can go about the making of these builds, but as long as you're going based off of your playstyle and preference, I promise you, everything's going to work out in your favor. Now, I know I'm not the only one that's bringing y'all builds every single day, so if you are one of those, go ahead and let me know which was your day 1 build and how many have you made since then. When it comes down to me, I have easily made over 100 builds already, and I'm bringing y'all gameplay as well as clips of these builds every single day. But yeah, man, just keep in mind that there is no perfect way when it comes down to the badge setups. As long as you're going with something that fits your play style, I promise you that's always going to be the best way to work around it. Now, as far as when it comes down to the core badge for the playmaking, I'm going to go with Clamp Breaker, because once you consider throwing on Hall of Fame Posterizer, that's going to be a good amount of badges that we did not have to use our actual badge points on. Easily over 10 already with those 2 badges alone. Now, if you copy the exact breakdown of the playmaking badges, I'm telling you, that's the exact best setup that I would go with when it comes down to the playmaking itself. Now, especially when it comes down to the shooting, you're going to see I'm changing up the setup of badges that I originally had, and this just goes to show you that there's no perfect way to go about any making of the badge counts. You're always going to be switching in and out of badges, especially going throughout the year. There's new badges that we have not even tried yet, but with the finishing, remember, the main one that you want to go with for the core will be Hall of Fame Posterizer. Posterizer. Now everything else is going to fall into place, but this is looking like a pretty solid build overall, especially with this badge count and the way that I'm setting it up. Now the final area of this build that we have to work with will be the defense, but I'm telling you, if you add boost on that area, the block is there, so you're going to be saved, especially with that interior and perimeter defense. We have everything that I would have to say that we need as well. But again, man, thank you so much for the support and coming out every single day. Shout out to the Rich family. If you want a certain build, go ahead and let me know in the comments. If you have measurements, certain requirements of a build to make, go ahead and shoot me the details, and I most definitely got you with a remake and a video of that. But man, if you made it this far, I just want to go ahead and say thank you, God, for another day and another opportunity. Thank y'all for the support. And man, this is pretty much what the build is going to be looking like overall. 77 badges alone. Then we also get that 99 driving dunk with Hall of Fame posterizer. Now again, this wraps it up for the best /4 build. And if you made it, man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Now turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. And don't forget to smash that like button. Let's get at least 50 likes on this video. Be sure to share it with your family and friends. And last but not least, with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Thank God and Rich out.